On the 17th of October 2016, students of the prestigious Lagos Business School paid a visit to the Dangote Refinery and Fertilizer Facility at the Beju-Lekki axis of Lagos, Nigeria. The Lagos Business School students present were from the Owner-Manager Program, Executive MBA Program, and the Full-Time MBA Program. The students were warmly received by the directors and top executives of the refinery. Shortly after their arrival, they were put through brief presentations that highlighted the achievements, goals, progress, and targets of the refinery and fertilizer infrastructure. One of the highly anticipated aspects of their visit was the tour of the facility. The facility, which has a land mass of over 2,700 hectares, currently has ongoing construction of the refinery, as well as petrochemical, gas, and fertilizer projects. These projects are to be completed and fully functional by the year 2019. This world-class facility is at today the largest of its kind in Africa. times, the refinery has also been visited by the likes of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Oshibanjo, Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Ambode Akinwumi, and ex-Governor of Lagos State, Babatunde Raji Fashola. The major highlight of their visit was the one-on-one session the students had with the president of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote. Alhaji Dangote, in his speech, took the students through the investment, diversification and partnership maneuvers undertaken by the Dangote Group in the last years.
Diversify, sectors and geographies, which means we are not in Nigeria only, we are also outside Nigeria, even though it's only the cement for now that we're doing outside Nigeria. But some of the things that we're doing, like the refinery, the fertilizer, we can actually serve the other part of sub-Saharan Africa from here without building this sort of, because we don't have the capacity or the we won't have even the human capacity to manage these huge plants, because each one is a world class on its own, So then we have what you call substitute imports and foreign exchange from exports, which is a very good plan. We started this a long time before even thinking about the devaluation of the Naira. And when you really look at it, as of today, if we export our cement from Nigeria to Ghana, we actually make maybe even up to about 20% more, because the price is better in Ghana than Nigeria today, because Nigeria's price has been low. In Naira, yes, it sounds high, but when you convert the money into dollars, you really get nothing, you don't get much. So then contrarian mindset, which means it's always good you invest in a low, in a downturn of an economy. For example, today we're getting a lot of good deals. Things that ordinarily, it's just like now, if we are going to build Obajana, I think we can build Obajana at the 60% of the cost of how much we built Obajana. We built Obajana about 1.2 billion. I'm sure we can build Obajana the same, less than 700 million, because right now no jobs anywhere, nobody's investing anywhere. People are holding on to cash to see what will happen, and we are really going ahead. It's a bit of a risk, but it's a calculated risk to see that, okay, fine, let us invest when people are not investing. When people are not investing, obviously you get good deals, which is better if you have the cash. But if you don't have the cash is tight also, at the moment. So we execute execute efficiently. New plans and technologies, huge advantage versus incumbents. Like when you look at it in cement, when we took our prices down, we made good money, whereas our competitors lost a lot of money, which means the efficiency of our type of plants, is, I don't think they can match it really, because if you look at it, I don't know whether some of you must have been to Igbeche, and we have what you call robotic, even in our testing of our raw material. We test our raw material right from the mines up to the end. So really, it's not the normal factory, and we produce the cheapest, and we're still looking inwards how to drill down in terms of cost. Most of the areas where people get killed, we try to provide our own service, but it requires additional investment because it's a business on its own. If you look at it like right now, we're using already coal, and I hope by end of the year we'll end up using coal in most of our operations, especially in cement. And the coal cost is very cheap. We're using Nigeria's coal. It's a little bit, it's okay. It's not as good as the South African coal, but it's okay. It's manageable. We can manage and get the same results. So we also have EPC contracts. Most of like our cement and some of the projects, like here in the fertilizer, is an EPC. EPC is engineering, procurement, and construction. So it's a turnkey, you know, which we have given to the contractors, and that will help us to really reduce the time-consuming stuff where we have to manage the project by ourselves. You know, I mean, it's helping us quite a lot, you know, so we have that. Then environmentally friendly, which means the operations with low emissions, robust EHSS framework, which we don't really have, you know, a lot of issues, because, you know, environmental issues are changing almost year by year, and we are meeting up with the international standard, which means European standard, you know. And then we obtain the best equipments today, like what I said earlier on, at the cheapest price, discount of up to about 30%, you know, because it's a period where there's fierce competition from various countries, and also the financing is very flexible. What we are doing is that we get local, you know, banking.
Dangote also highlighted the goals the group aims to achieve through the production of strategic recession goods, as he calls them, for the everyday Nigerian.
The plan is that we actually saw this coming about this devaluation, and that's why we kept on kicking against devaluation. But I think some people in the system did not really believe us, because they thought we were actually doing that for our selfish interest. Because it is very dangerous of any country to devalue a currency when you don't have much to export. You know, I mean, if you have a lot to export, fine. Like what I told you earlier on our cement today, if I export, I make much more money than selling domestically. But when you are not producing anything, everything is imported. You know, it will cause a lot of distortions, you know, especially for the poor people, you know, because like right now you look at it, we have not increased salaries, but almost everything has doubled, you know. I mean, it's not only for us, the rich, even the poor people in the village, everything has increased, because the craziness of somebody from the village, he will just hear through the radio that dollar is now 450. And he is selling cassava, and he will say, no, let him double. He too, he will double, because what is happening is that for our own test, rice would have actually maybe double or more than double. So somebody selling gari will say that, well, you don't have any substitute. The only substitute, maybe you come and buy gari, so let him double his own gari too. So that's what, you know, you always get when you do the valuation, unless if you are a big manufacturer, then fine. Going back to this, when you look at it in the refining and petrochemical, during the construction, I'm sure they must have told you we'll end up having almost 50,000 people here at the site. So managing that too is an issue, but I'm sure our guys here must have planned how to manage having this much, even though we are going to have 20-something thousand, the rest will be coming by buses. He
also emphasized that from the functional operations of the refinery, Dangote Industries would greatly aid the country ease out of its current state of economic recession.
You see that most filling stations, they are not working because the product is not always available. But with this, you don't have to stock. And I'm sure they must have told you that we are having 4 billion liters of, you know, tankage here. So 4 billion is much more than the entire, you know, country's tank capacity today as we speak. Then fertilizer too, you know, will open branches, will distribute fertilizer. Then we'll export quite a lot. If you look at it, on the oil, going back to the extreme right, you see on the oil, we will save about 6 billion for serving the local market, and we will export, you know, polypropylene, polyethylene, then the rest of the products, and that will give us another 6 billion in terms of foreign exchange earnings. So, as you go along, the only one that there's no saving is the subsea gas pipeline, because that's totally a domestic, you know, affair. Local rice, will employ 30,000 people, will save $500 million, dollars in terms of imports. Then local sugar will create 150,000 jobs and will save about $1.1 billion dollars in terms of FX. Then cement capacity addition will create 5,000 jobs more with savings of 500. So in all, we have about 250,000 jobs and also 15 billion of both savings and earnings. What I keep saying is that once we finish, we will not go to central bank for any foreign exchange anymore. We'll be actually the biggest sellers of FX in the market. Next page, refinery and petrochemical. I'm sure I don't want to bore you down, but all this presentation must have been done, 650,000, so that we save time. You've seen the site clearing, we have done, you must have seen how the land was before. And you see where, we are today. And also the detailed engineering were about almost 85%. And the overall project progress is at about 18.5%. And the rest of the information we have, they must have told you that we've sent the first batch of 50 Nigerian engineers in March this year. They're going to be in India for 1 year. Next page is also to talk about the refinery petrochemical will ensure fuel sufficiency for Nigeria. Challenges, so that we don't say that there's no challenges. Access to FX to fund equipment purchases and payment of offshore services being addressed through ECA financing. ECA is Export Credit Agencies Financing. So that's what we are typing, apart from the loan. So we'll end up with a lot of dollar loan, but it is mitigated because we'll also be earning dollars. So we're not going to really take much risk. If the dollars are available, it is better we buy today and know that, yes, we have a fixed Naira rate, so that any dollar we bring in will be an additional income, but it's not possible. You are fully aware of the reserves. Then the logistics delivery of our oversized cargo to the site is a really major challenge, but I'm sure there are experts in that area which we're hiring to handle those things. To the right is actually the benefits for Nigeria, which is save of foreign exchange 6 billion, and also earnings through export about 6 billion. Then job creation, during the work, like what we've said, 50,000. Permanent direct for the refinery will be about 1,500. But the creation of the jobs will actually making sure that those filling stations that are not at work, they will now open, they will be operating, and that will provide this number of jobs. And then significant skills transfer and technology, which this is not a refinery who can come and run with expatriates. We'll make sure that, yes, it's run by Nigerians, owned by Nigerians and run by Nigerians. The security of local supply, like what I've said, is already there. As of today, we import most of the polypropylene we use in bag manufacturing. But then polyethylene too, most of it is being imported. By the time we finish, it will actually be about 10 times the LMA petrochemical plant in Port Harcourt. Next page, I'm sure this one they're taking you around, so I don't have to go through. It is the refinery which is highly complex with several units and multiple international licenses. So we didn't go and use a second-rated licensor. All our licenses are top-rated in the world, which is UOP is part of Honeywell in the US. You can see DuPont, Jacobs,
Alhaji told students some of the entrepreneurial challenges faced by the Dangote Group in past and recent times.
Progress and challenges. Dangote Rice Outgrower Scheme launched in February in Hadejia. We have 5,000 hectare pilot scheme launch next year for next year's season. The challenges that we have is the same policy uncertainty, law enforcement with protected industries, high import fees of agro-chemicals, but all this we are discussing with the government, and I'm sure we are finding a solution. and then low public sector investment in infrastructure. Next one is the sugar, about the same story, 1.5 million metric tons. It is going to cost us about $1 billion. We are doing it in 2 phases. First phase will take about 4 years. Second will execute within 4 to 6 years. And this one is a potential to discourage insurgency, especially in the northern part. Areas where it's not in the northern part, it will help to sort out